My favorite part about teaching grade 2 is the students' natural curiosity. They come to school naturally ready to learn, and when you trigger that desire to find out more, it's exciting and it creates a great environment to learn. So when students arrive back to school after fall break, they first were met with an urgent delivery of postcards. And these postcards came from a place called Loompa Land. They were unsure where this place is, who could be writing to them. Then we took them to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Museum.
Most of you know who I am, and if you don't, well, you need to eat more chocolate. I'm Mr. Willy Wonka.
We started off with a video that had Mr. Willy Wonka posing a problem. He had sent the Oompa Loompas home for Christmas holidays, and he came to the grade 2s saying that he knows that they know something about being inventors, but do they really know what it takes to be an inventor?
I've been told that you are capable of critical and creative thinking. I need 60 unique chocolate bars designed, created, and packaged by Christmas Day. You are going to have to be inventors.
We had an overall driving question for our learning adventure, and that is, what does it take to be an inventor? What do you need to have? What do you need to know? We talked about Thomas Edison and Bombardier. He's a Canadian inventor from Quebec who invented the snowmobile. We've talked about how an inventor doesn't give up, and an inventor makes mistakes before they find out what works. This learning adventure encompassed literacy, math, science, and art. We were able to teach these subjects through the use of chocolate bars.
Our science curriculum involves hot and cold temperatures, and the students need to learn how temperature affects things. So for heating, we melted a chocolate so that they could see what to do, but then we also talked about if you melt the chocolate too quickly, what will happen. It turned crusty and stinky and some different colors as well, with smoke coming out of it, and in the end we let the students taste it to decide if this was really a good product that Willy Wonka would want on his shelves.
Have you ever smelled burnt chocolate? Oh, disgusting.
In another science experiment, we found out what happens when you cool chocolate down. So we took chocolate milk and put it into tiny containers. We put them into large cans with lots of salt and snow. And then we got the kids to shake and shake and shake until finally it turned into ice cream. And most of them were pretty surprised that it turned into ice cream. They weren't seeing that one coming.
Oh, it's freezing in here. Didn't you realize the temperature is extremely, monumentally, incomparably important in my factory?
They have to learn how buildings are heated, and so we ended up taking a little in-school field trip down to the boiler room where the students got to see how the school was heated and how that air went to each of the classrooms.
When students have a solid foundation using the science experiments, that really gives them confidence to think like an inventor. Students are very familiar with the levels of self-reflection, and they do this constantly in grade 2. We use a thumbs up or thumbs sideways if we just want to know really quickly how they're doing. And we use a lot of learning maps in math, in science, and literacy for the students to track their own confidence in the subject area. At the end of the learning adventure, students brought in their chocolate inventions. They designed them at school, but they created them at home with their family's help, and we could tell there was a lot of joy in the creation process. Students were so excited to present their chocolate bars to the class, and after their presentations, we invited parents and others in the school to participate in a chocolate auction.
I love that the kids are advocates for their invention. They get to share their learning, they get to share all their hard work, and it's neat to see them just take ownership for what they've invented and have fun with it as well. We wanted students to really believe that they are inventors and they can invent, and they have the qualities and imaginations to actually produce something that's new and different and unique.
You can tell that they have reached a level of pride and ownership in their work. You can tell they know their chocolate bar invention inside and out. They've put so much work into it, and they just can't wait to share it with the world.